One Piece chapter 1131. It is titled Loki in the Underworld. The cover page consists of Yamato, Speed, and Otama, who are going after the individual that stole the sword in the last chapter. And now that that's out of the way, let's get into the actual chapter. It starts off with an ecstatic Luffy because they finally arrived at Elbaph. He is so excited that Luffy can't stop talking, which is kind of different from Luffy's character that we're used to seeing. Typically Luffy, he doesn't talk as much, and he's like just more about action. And this is funny because seeing Loki's reaction to this, where he's like, hey, like trying to talk to him and he can't even get a word in, and all of a sudden he raises his voice so he can finally speak, still reiterating that Loki is the sun god. And we got the reveal of his bounty, and it is 2.6 billion berries. And what's unique about this is that the government issued a special bounty on him. A few things to note is that Damalo Black had a bounty of 26 million, and he was the fake Luffy. As I mentioned, Loki's bounty is 2.6 billion, and he's supposed to be the fake sun god. Also, if you combine Luffy's 3 billion bounty with Loki's 2.6 billion, it equals to 5.6 billion, and the number 56 is the number for the word Gomu, representing the gum gum fruit. And with the special government bounty, does this have something to do with the legendary devil fruit that Loki ate? Does the government view him that much as a threat because he's not a pirate or a revolutionary? And it also makes me wonder what other characters have or at the same time didn't receive special bounties. For example, an 8-year-old Nico Robin, she wasn't a pirate or a revolutionary at that time. She didn't become a pirate until later when she joined Crocodile. And I guess to be fair, that doesn't necessarily mean that was the first time she became a pirate. Maybe there were other pirates that she joined that weren't as well known as he was. Nevertheless, I still wonder why Loki is the only character 1,000 plus chapters into the series that have received a special bounty. Apparently, Loki has been chained up for 6 years. He claims that he is the strongest warrior in Elbaph. And to be fair, during that time period when Loki was chained up, Dory and Broggy weren't there, but it did take all of the giants in order to capture him. So I think that this claim definitely has some legitimate value. Did you guys also notice the parallels between Zoro and Loki in their first interactions? Remember, during Zoro's introduction, Luffy saved him after being tied up, and because of that, Zoro devoted himself to Luffy and now is his right hand, as well as defeating pirates. It's something small, but I definitely like this parallel. The tree that Loki is chained up to is known as the Jewel Tree Atom, and it forms the kingdom itself. And something to note is that this is the tree that the Thousand Sunny is made out of. Back during Water 7, Frankie mentioned a tree that survived during all the war that would take place on a particular island, and no matter how much war, the tree would withstand it and they'd rebuild the nation around that tree. It's really cool seeing the lore, and a lot of us believe that it was actually the Yggdrasil tree, and it technically still could be the inspiration behind why this tree exists, if that makes sense, which would be really cool, connecting One Piece to some of Norse mythology. After explaining some of Elbaph's lore to Luffy, Luffy wants to make a deal with him. He said that if Luffy were to free him, he'll completely eliminate one rival crew from Luffy's choosing. That's a lot of confidence from someone because, okay, to be fair, I don't actually think that Loki would fulfill this promise, but let's just say that he did. He's aware of like some of these strong pirates, as a Yonko was introduced a little bit later in the chapter, and Luffy being a Yonko, that means that the only rivals he has would be other Yonko crews. So if Loki is, if he did fulfill that promise, that would mean he'll be fighting crews like the Blackbeard Pirates or Cross Guild. So if he's that confident in his strength, Loki might be that dude. But Luffy, he don't have time to really contemplate the offer that Loki provided, because they're currently in the underworld, where those judged as criminals are dropped down here, and the underworld would be Niflheim in Norse mythology, and this is where the prisoners and the execution yard is. We see these giant monsters like wolves, bears, snakes. These are the monsters that Dory and Broggy were referring to when they were talking about the Gorosei, and this is reminiscent to Luffy's time when he was training during the time skip. It's a real full circle moment and really cool to see. There are other people who are here as well, and they did battle on Elbaph and lost. They mentioned that they got knocked unconscious last time by red-haired Shanks, and this perks Luffy's interest, who was able to become friends with these large beasts. Luffy has always been been good with animals, and especially because he has conqueror's hockey, even if he wasn't good with animals, he can will them to submission anyway. Loki talked about how he was friends with these animals since he was younger, and I wonder if this is because of his strength or because he's a conqueror's user. When asked about Shanks, Loki called him a coward of a pirate, and Luffy did not like that because he instantly turned into Gear 4th and attempted to punch Loki, who dodged. I gotta give Loki a lot of credit here because he was able to dodge this attack while he was chained up. This takes me back to the first chapter when the mountain bandits made fun of Shanks and Luffy lost his temper. So anytime you talk smack about Shanks, Luffy ain't gonna stand for it, and now he has the strength to back it up. Loki claims that this was a joke and isn't going to offer any information about Shanks until Luffy sets him free. And a while ago I said that Luffy had no reason to set Loki free, but now this gives him a reason, and I wonder, based off of Loki's statement, if that means him and Shanks have history, and if so, what happened between the two, especially because Shanks became a Yonko 6 years ago, which would coincide with the time frame of when Loki was chained up. But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying the content, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I pump out different One Piece content all the time. We cut back to Zoro's group as they see Road, Jerd, and Goldberg running in the direction of the Sunny, and the Straw Hats, they're low-key black because they see these giants running, and without asking any questions, they turn around and they start running. I can't wait to see how this interaction is going to go down, especially because of Harudin's relationship, as we saw him and Stanson, the crew's shipwright, caught a moose in the underworld and are attempting to carry it as a feast for the Straw Hats. And since they're currently in the underworld, I wonder if that means that they'll either run into Luffy or Loki or the remaining Straw Hats. The chapter ends as we cut back to the Straw Hats that are on the giant ship. Brooke cuts Robin's hair back to what it looked like pre-time skip. This is because she rocked this style as a kid and she wants to look the same exact way as she did when she first met Saul. It's been 22 years since he last saw her, so she wants to do whatever she can so that Saul would notice her. Another thing to note, as I mentioned, Brooke, he was the one that cut Robin's hair, and typically that role would be either Usopp's, Sanji, or Robin's according to the SBS. And I guess, to be fair, Robin, using her devil fruit, should be able to cut her devil fruit herself. I don't know why she didn't, but it is what it is. As they're close to Elbaph, there's big trouble. Apparently Saul has fallen and won't get up. I'm not worried one bit. Oda would not say that Saul's alive just to kill him off before him and Robin could reunite. He looked fine in chapter 1114, and it's only been a few days since, so I'm not worried. There is no break next week, so I'm really excited to see the continuation of Elbaph. Let me know how you guys felt about this chapter in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.